Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Twisted Mug Media Network YouTube channel. This is Ryan. I know that it has been a long time since I've recorded one of these. You just saw episode 2 recently where I went through the 2024 season. Basically, this is episode 3 of the series. I'm just going to be doing the off-season today. And this is just to get back into making content for the YouTube channel. Hopefully going to be making some more MLB The Show content once the new game comes out next week. And this is kind of just like a warm-up for me. So hope you enjoy this warm-up. If there's any mess-ups, I'm sorry. But yeah, we're also restarting the Cinema Talk podcast. So go on over to wherever you get podcasts and we'll be there. So let's get into the free agency. Here we go with our exclusive rights free agents. We have around $84 million to play with. I think I want to re-sign Reynaldo Lopez after he had a really good year. But let's see if I can give him a 2-year deal worth maybe $7 million. Be in our bullpen. And I think I'm going to let everybody else walk. We have our good staff. But last season was really disappointing. I just went back through and watched everything and got a feel for organization again. And I'm surprised. I am still surprised that we did as badly as we did. But let's see if we did. Okay. Reynaldo Lopez did sign, which is great. And he will be back with the Major League team, which is good. Staff looks good. Gonna need to pay attention to some of these names if we want to re-sign them. I don't know if we'll be re-signing somebody like Carlos Feebles with the -3 there. But definitely our farm director there would consider bringing back, and our first base coach Kyle Hudson there. Definitely some good stuff there. So we're gonna move forward with the team into free agency, and I am going to look at salary or arbitration negotiations. So I think people who I'm going to offer arbitration here, let's see how much Bobby Dahlbeck wants. For a 1 year, he wants a $1.4 million contract. I am going to think about these and I will come back to you with what I do. Okay, so I think I'm done with salary arbitration offers. I offered to these top guys. I offered a 3-year contract to Ober and a 1-year contract to Dahlbeck. Probably with the intention of trading Dahlbeck because I don't really want him back on this team, but I don't want to let that value go. Same with Yu Chang. I don't know if I want him back on the squad, but I'm sure I can get something, even if it's just like a C potential prospect for him instead of just letting him walk. But the rest of these guys I'm going to let walk. So I am going to tender some contracts here. If there's anything noteworthy, I will let you know, and then I will be back for actual free agency. And I've offered everybody contracts who I want to offer contracts to. I did not offer to these D potential relievers. I might still come back and get some more relievers. I just don't want to overdo the system. Or MLB The Show only lets you have like 93 players in your system at a time, so I don't want to overdo that before free agency. So we're penning offers around 21 million. So if you take 21 million off of 75, that gets you right around $56 million, which is what we have to play with. But first, I am going to look at our budget, see if there's any players I want to get off the books. And the 2 players I would consider are Yoshida and Story, and I don't know if anyone's going to want them for that price point for those 3 years for somebody in their early 30s. But I am going to check out the trade market, and I will get back to you with some offers if I can. Okay, so the team that I identified as I think actually willing to take on Trevor Story's contract because they have the money, they have a boatload of money, and has a team around them I think good enough to contend where they would actually use him, is the Seattle Mariners. They have Julio Rodriguez on a very team-friendly contract. And they have a lot of players over 80 overall, and adding a solid second baseman for 3 years to this team I think would make a lot of sense. So now we just need to figure out what our package would be to get rid of Mr. Story. And I think I'm going to be looking at a reliever. Andres Munoz would not get it done. I wonder if I throw back Gates, who we just drafted, Reynaldo Lopez, who we just re-signed, Jordan Hicks. There's players that would get this done. Gosh, even D potential. Philip Chin would get it done. Okay, so I think we are going to trade Story to the Mariners, but maybe let's just give it a day and see if any of our guys re-sign. Let's also check out... So I'm going to trade Story to the Mariners. I'm also going to check out if anybody wants Yoshida, or if anyone would use Yoshida, so I'll be back. Okay, and I think I'm going to trade Yoshida to the Twins. So, as long as... Because they also have a lot of money, and they're coming off of a World Series win, where they kind of had some weak outfield play, especially from Luis Gonzalez, 29-year-old, 73 overall. Larnach held it down good enough, so this would really be for putting Yoshida in right field. But again, I'm going to give it a day, and we're going to look at free agency. So, actually, let's go and look over our roster and talk about what we really need going into free agency. We're going to have, if you add about $40 million to that, we're going to have about $90 million to play with. Not necessarily needing to use it all. If we're looking at our rotation, I think I'm really happy there right now. If we can identify and go get one of these higher end pitchers for not a ton of money, I would be interested. But I think for now, we have a lot of young guys coming up. And, you know, as I'm saying all that, I'm thinking our pitching was awful last year, so maybe we do go get another starting pitcher up there in talent, and maybe move over to the bullpen, or Bobby Miller to the bullpen, or somebody. But I do like the young pitching talent we have on this team. But as I said, Shohei shortens the window. I want to win with Shohei. Congratulations, Dodgers fans. In real life, you got him. But I mean, I recorded the last episode while he was still an Angel. So I just wanted to say that. But yeah, congratulations to you guys, and hopefully he comes back as a pitcher soon. Reliever, I mean, we need bullpen help, like as much bullpen help as possible. We do not have a closer. Schreiber was our closer last year. He pitched fine. A 3.68 ERA is not bad. Maybe we'll move him to closer permanently. So pitching broadly is a need. Catcher, huge need. Diego Cartaya is coming, but he's not ready yet. That bat is remarkably consistent, but not where we need it to be. So he is going to be out of options after this year, so hopefully he will be at least a backup catcher next year. I did do arbitration for Reese McGuire, but this is going to be his last year of arbitration, so this will be his last year with this organization. So catcher, definitely a need. First base, probably not a need. I want to develop Casas. If there is somebody there who is really worth it, I'm going to go after them. But I do like Casas being our future at first base. Second base is going to be a need because Trevor Story is going to be gone. Third base, not a need. Shortstop, also not a need because we're going to have Rosario for one more year at $10 million. Unfortunately for Ahmed Rosario, he only got 1.5 in actual free agency from the Tampa Bay Rays. But here in this franchise, back last offseason, we gave him a 2-year, $20 million contract. But he is going to pave the way for Marcelo Meyer, who I realize now I was pronouncing his name wrong. Sorry about that. Marcelo Meyer is going to be coming up and replacing Ahmed Rosario next year. So he's going to have one more year in AAA. Shortstop, we're good. Outfield, Verdugo. He's a damn Yankee now. But here in our franchise, he is a Red Sox, and I'm very happy about that because of the way he has played for us. So left field, especially with Yoshida gone too, cleans it up a little bit. Left field's going to be gone. We do not have a center fielder, and we have Hunter Renfroe in right field. So this team needs, I would argue, just about everything. Let's look at our depth chart. It has us as a 10th overall team, which I think probably change once we have Story and Yoshida off the books. But looking at our depth chart, it's funny. They got the picture of Hunter Renfroe back from 2021. Verdugo and Renfroe, at least for this season, I feel good about being there. Devers and Rosario on the left side is good. The right side is questionable. Catcher is questionable. There's a lot of holes. There's a lot of holes. Looking back on it now, I can see why we were around a 500 team, a little less than 500, because it wasn't all there. Our pitching was supposed to be really good, 6th, and it wasn't. 18th defense isn't gonna, do that much damage to a pitching unit to make them a bottom 8 unit. Looking forward, though, next year, obviously, I love that MLB The Show has this. They should have this in Madden. There's a lot of features in this game that Madden should have. Take notes. Clearly, next year, we're going to have Zapata, probably, if he's ready, and Meyer at short. So this team's going to look a lot different. Edwin Arroyo might be ready at second base. So yeah, this team needs to be ready for a transformation, but I want to stay competitive if we look at 2029, which we may or may not get to in this series. This team looks young and good, which is the idea. Oh, also, I want to point out, we have Junior Caminero. He's a C potential. He might be a bench guy, as this says. He is not the number 2 prospect in baseball, or number 3 prospect in baseball, the way he is in real life, but just want to mention that. So that's the team. So let's go into free agency and check out what's here. So I'm not going to be offering any of these top 3 guys offers yet. If they remove the qualifying offer and I don't have to give up a draft pick, maybe I'll look into those guys. I do want to make somewhat realistic deals. I don't think Max Fried is going to get only, what is this? Okay, he's looking for $23 million a year. That's way more realistic than what the Braves offered him. So I'm going to assess pitching, and then I'm going to come back to you guys with who I'm looking at for this first round of free agency. Okay, so I don't think I want to offer anybody on day 1, starting pitcher-wise, but there are 2 relievers who I am offering to, who I would really like to sign. It is Jonathan Loaisiga, who I want to steal from the Yankees. Pitched decently 2 of the last 3 years, and pitched really well last year with an expanded role for them. Clearly, he was one of the 2 setup guys if he had 20 holds and 88 1/3 innings. 2.24 ERA is really, really good, and a lowered whip. So he kind of has 2 sides of him there, 1.29 whip guy and around a 1 whip guy. But regardless, he's a positive player. And his fielding independent pitching, even that 3.34, I will take that. So we're going to be going after Loaisiga, 2 years, $9.8 million. And then I offered a big boy contract to AJ Minter to be our closer, 3 years, $33 million. Remarkably consistent in the 2020s. Last year he had 54 saves, 4 blown saves with the Atlanta Braves with a 1.93 ERA. So I want him to be our closer for this phase. So I'm going to go into position players, and I will be back with you guys. Okay, and honestly, guys, there is a couple positions, or a couple players at a couple positions that I would like to make offers to, but I am not going to make offers to in this first day. I'm going to see if I can sign some players, trade away Trevor Story and Masataka Yoshida, and maybe sign these 2 guys, but normally players don't make decisions that quick, so I'm just going to sim forward a day or 2, and then we will reevaluate. Okay, we sign AJ Minter. Great. Let's see. Not tender contract, sorry, free agency. Loaisiga has not signed yet, but we do get our closer for the future. Really a beast, AJ Minter, and then Schreiber can go back to being a reliever, high leverage reliever, setup man, which is really where I would want him to be more than our actual everyday closer. So really happy about that. So we got AJ Minter. Okay, I think I'm going to take David Edwards, and is there any other? Can I take Jamie Lopez? No. Okay, I think I'm just going to be able to get this B potential reliever for Trevor Story, so I'm going to do that. So the Mariners get Trevor Story. They're not going to give up a ton for him because of the huge money, but we get something for him. So that's good. And now we're going to move on to the Twins. And so for Yoshida, we are going to get Harrison McGregor, 23-year-old C potential reliever. So basically, we're going to clear salary and pick up 2 guys who might be in the bullpen for us 2 or 3 years down the line. So we're going to do that. That solves that problem for the Twins. And we get back to a good amount of money for this second day of free agency. We are now at, what is that, 122 million total. Okay, and looking back now at the free agents, I did decide to offer a 2-year contract to Gleyber Torres, who hit really well last year. 21 home runs, 27 doubles, 82 RBIs. Played really, really well. But he is 28, and we are going to have some guys coming up, specifically Edwin Arroyo. So this is actually a 1-year, $15 million deal with a club option. So I don't know if that will work out. But clearly, I wanted to make it worth Gleyber Torres' time if he's going to turn down a 4-year, $40 million contract with the Yankees. So he'll be able to either hit the market again next offseason or the offseason after that and get paid. And in the meantime, a Trevor Story replacement for almost $10 million less, which we can use to sign, which, I mean, you can just assign that to AJ Minter right there. I think that's a win. So we're going to go after Gleyber Torres, Jonathan Loáisiga here. I still have not decided. Clearly, Pete Alonso wants to go back to the Mets. Juan Soto is interesting. I think I'm going to let that play out a little bit. It doesn't seem like he's very interested in any of the offers yet. And then pitching-wise, Corbin Burns, Shane Bieber is going to go somewhere, and I'm just not going to pay him that much money. Corbin Burns would be someone I would be interested in spending a decent bit of money on, although he is already regressing, and he's a qualifying offer, and I'm just not interested in signing anybody on a qualifying offer right now. Same with Brandon Woodruff. He is asking for $20 million a year, and once that goes down, or once the qualifying offer goes down, I might send him an offer. But I think for right now, just money-wise and just letting the market play out, I'm going to keep going to see if we can steal 2 Yankees, which makes us better and the Yankees worse, which is the goal. So let's go a few days in free agency. Goldschmidt goes back to the Cardinals. Abreu and Pena both signed contracts, avoiding arbitration. Okay, so let's look at free agency. We did get Loáisiga, which is great, again, for our bullpen. So we are improving the bullpen little by little, which is great for us, and to the point where I think maybe we're good. Let's see here. We got 1, 2, 3 guys who we actually want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say Crawford and Matt Zek are iffy, but I want Hicks. I mean, I'm going to be stuck with Hicks. And then we have Loáisiga, Schreiber, Minter. Ooh, sorry about that. And Reynaldo Lopez, again, who pitched really well last year for us, even though he is regressing a little. So we'll keep an eye out for relievers, but I think for right now, that works. And let's see if anything changes here after 1 week. So no big free agents have signed. Joey Meneses re-signs with the Marlins. Gleyber Torres still has not signed. Let's see if anybody's jumped in front of us. No, we're still in the leader house for him. Qualifying offers are still sitting there. It looks like Bieber's going to get signed, no doubt. And nothing's really changed on those other guys. Waiting for Zach Wheeler to sign and Pete Alonso, since they are so interested. Fried might take a little while to sign. O'Neill looks like he's happy going back to the Cardinals, even though he did come to Boston in real life and trade. So we're going to wait and see how the market plays out a little bit. Really hoping we can get Gleyber Torres. There goes Corbin Burns. 7-year deal for a 30-year-old is a lot. Good for him getting $33.6 million a year. That is not something I was going to be willing to do. So Corbin Burns goes to the Giants. And we signed Gleyber Torres, so that's great. Like I said, club option. So it's really a 1 year, $15 million deal to steal him away from the Yankees and to shore up the hole left by Trevor Story. So we're going to go ahead and put him in the lineup as our everyday second baseman. As you can see, this lineup definitely has holes. Like, there's no denying it. So catcher and center field remain our two biggest needs. And there is a market for Danny Jensen, who is the only higher level catcher available. And again, I could try to overpay him, do the same kind of deal with him as Gleyber, do a 1 year and just way overpay. Which I don't hate the idea of doing a couple contracts like this just to see if we can be competitive for this year. We have the budget to do so. And I think these are better players than Story and Yoshida, who we traded away. So we'll look at doing that, and then center field. Okay, I think I'm going to make this offer 2 years, $50 million to Tyler O'Neill. Again, I'm trying to keep this more realistic. A player coming off of that season, 35 home runs, 98 RBIs, and a 227 average with, will be just about, 9 OBP, or OPS plus. OPS, not OPS plus, jeez. I think he would demand somewhere around $25 million a year for that. You know, maybe I'll do 2 years, $44 million, $22 million fought a year with an option to take up a second year. And that leaves us then about $30 million to play with if we do want to go after anybody else. So let's see if O'Neill or Jensen jump on the same contract structure that we offered and signed Gleyber Torres to. Marcus Semien gets traded to the Orioles. That hurts within the division. Very good player for two guys I haven't heard of. I'm going to check out who those guys are. Okay, Bruce Grieve is a decent right fielder, and Angel Hernandez, B potential young guy, B potential closer. So if they're trying to shed salary, that makes sense. At least they got two good, young prospects for Semien. But that sucks for us. Nobody is signed. There's no longer qualifying offers on these guys. So Juan Soto doesn't want to sign with anybody. Because this is near maxed out. I can only go up to 175. This game maxes you out at $35 million a year, which obviously, again, if we're talking realism, it's too late for that Shohei contract. I signed that before he got double that. But even a 10-year contract here, he's not really interested. I mean, he would like a 10-year contract with a player option. I don't know. Would this put us first? It would by a good bit, but we'll keep our eyes open to see if maybe he'll become open to a 1-year contract or something like that. He's looking to increase. Okay, maybe he does want to sign a 2-year deal. Oops. We give him a player option. What would a 2-year club option look like? Again, that same structure. Maybe he would like that. I don't think this is that unrealistic because we are giving players super high AAV, which is what they're going for. And again, in baseball, again, different from football, this is coming out right around football free agency. These are all guaranteed contracts for each year. So these guys, Jensen, O'Neill, Juan Soto would get $35, $22, and $13 million guaranteed, even without us picking up those team options. Actually, this would put us over our available money. So I have to decide between these. And again, I think I'm going to wait on Juan Soto. We're just going to see how the market plays out a little bit on that. So we're going to go here, and we do need to select our 40-man. So let's go ahead and do that. We got Tyler O'Neill. Sir Anthony Dominguez goes to the Blue Jays. Shane Bieber goes for $35 million a year. Again, maxed out to the Giants. Oh, man, they signed Burns and Bieber. Jeez. San Francisco's not messing around. They're going to have Webb. Okay, well, they're going to have Lorenzen then, too. Webb, Burns, Bieber, Frankie Montez, and Michael Lorenzen. That's a pretty freaking good rotation. Jesus. What? I don't even think I can look at their budget. That's insane. They've spent so much money. Okay, so Tyler O'Neill, we're going to move him into our center field role. And I think against righties, we're at least going to put him 7th. But against lefties, then I'm going to want him to lead off probably. Or at least hit second. So this lineup's coming together. And again, that is the idea around these contracts for O'Neill and Torres. So I hope you guys are enjoying. Let's take a look at this 40-man. Who is it that's recommending? Nick Sogard. Honestly, I'm going to leave that the way it is. I might just actually take guys off the 40-man. Yeah, I don't need him to be on the 40-man. I think Connor Wong probably can pass through waivers. No problem. And same with Wilyer Abreu. And we'll just leave that option. For what? Yeah, now six players room on the 40-man, which is good flexibility to have. So Danny Jensen, last player to have signed or to have an offer from us. Juan Soto now is getting interest from top 2 teams, the AL Central, which I don't want to see Juan Soto come to the AL the way he has in real life. Again, I'm afraid of the Yankees this year. It's good, bad news for Garrett Cole, his health of his elbow, but it helps everybody else in the AL and in the league that Garrett Cole's not going to be able to pitch for 10 to 12 weeks in real life. Woodruff is getting some interest now, especially from the Dodgers, but let's keep going a little. I think I'm good with arbitration. Yeah, we're definitely going to let those guys go, so that's fine. Emmanuel Clase gets traded from the Guardians to, wow, they got a haul for him. They got Joe Musgrove and Ha-Sung Kim for Emmanuel Clase. Absolute steal by the Guardians. Incredible. Wow. I cannot believe that. That is kind of nuts. I know our pitching staff was terrible last year. Maybe I look at a little more there and just say Juan Soto is probably not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, we're not even, I wouldn't say we're guaranteed to get Danny Jensen. So, and there's no relievers left. Okay, so never mind on that. Starting pitching wise, there's a ton of guys who can make our rotation better. So I'm just going to hang out a little bit, let's wait and see what happens with Danny Jensen. And he signs with us. Great. So we did 3 of these 1-year deals now, which is great. But now we need to decide on bench players. I also want to point out, if we're looking at realism, the type of contracts that Matt Chapman and, well, really the Boris guys are getting right now, that Matt Chapman and Cody Bellinger got, are very similar to these deals that I just gave to Gleyber Torres, Tyler O'Neill, and Danny Jensen. Also, our timeline-wise, with our young guys, it doesn't really affect them. It's just kind of spending the money we have now. Because if Minter's the only guy who we extended more than 1 season, really. We're paying O'Neill, Torres, Jansen, Rosario, all above $10 million, really for 1 more year, and then it's up to us. And then we're also paying Hunter Renfroe for that 1 year as well. So there's going to be a ton of money. It doesn't really reflect it there if you look at 2026, but there's going to be potentially a ton of money coming off the books, where if we want to spend next offseason in Tyler O'Neill, Gleyber Torres, Danny Jensen, Amed Rosario, or Hunter Renfroe, if any of them don't perform or are not just in our future plans, we can move on. But they're getting a lot of money just on a 1-year deal. for them. And they're all, you know, right around 28, 29 years old, except for Renfroe's a little older. So they're going to be able to hit the market again as long as they don't have a catastrophic injury, which, again, in this game doesn't really happen. So I think it all makes sense. Glass now re-signs with the Rays, and the Mets get Alonso back. So let's look at pitching. We have $7 million in pending offers. What is that $7 million? Oh, it's our arbitration offers. Okay. That's fine. So we could sign a pitcher. Woodruff is going to get a long-term deal. He's not going to come here on a short-term deal. Fried, you know, might be another guy to throw this 2-year type of option at. I would offer him 2 years, 40. Again, same type of idea. That would kind of max us out. Because he's not getting the contract offers that he will in real life and should in this game. But it doesn't make the game more realistic to let him re-sign with Atlanta for $15 million a year, however much that is. A little more than that. Wheeler's going to be happy getting a contract. Yeah, I'm going to give that offer to Fried. Drury could be an interesting depth piece. Slash... Well, actually, I think he'd be a starting first baseman for us. Another rental. Let Casas develop on the bench. I don't hate that. And we're also going to offer Nick Gordon $1.5 million to be a bench guy for us. Okay, so Brandon Woodruff goes to the Tigers for about $25 million a year. Good for him. We get Max Fried for that 1-year contract with a club option. Clay Holmes goes to the Astros, another Yankee going off the Yankees. Love to see it. So Drury and Nick Gordon are kind of the last pieces to decide. I think what this means is that Miller and Bayo are going to fight it out to see who's going to be our long reliever along with Hicks. And then the other is going to go back down to AAA to keep developing for some time. So we got Fried, Ohtani, Houck, Whitlock, and Ober as our starting rotation. Yes, we signed Nick Gordon. He's going to be our utility man off the bench. Play the outfield and most of the infield. So I'm thinking bench-wise, we're looking at Nick Gordon, Reese McGuire, Yu Chang, and then probably Tristan Casas. The only thing I'm debating is Jarren Duran, if I need to keep him instead of maybe put Casas down at AAA, simply because we need an outfielder. Like, Gordon can play outfield, but I don't know if I want him to play, 80 games, giving guys rest days, giving Verdugo, Renfroe, and O'Neill rest days. Now, let's see what's on the market, because we do still have, $7 million? Okay, and we're going to offer Tyrone Taylor $1.6 million to be our bench outfielder, because he's versatile in terms of he can play all 3 positions. He has decent hitting numbers, so he's not going to be a liability in the lineup for 80 might be too high, 50 games or so. So the winter meetings, we're going to go to the lottery. I don't anticipate us getting above the 10th pick, but we'll see. Let's check it out. So no, we stay at 12, but the Pirates jump up 7 spots. Wow, the Rockies dropped 6. They went 43 and 119, tied for the worst, or one of the worst with the Tigers ever, and they get the number 7 pick. That sucks. So we're going to be picking 12. Pablo Lopez goes to the Cubs. We got to go to the Rule 5 draft. Sogard does get picked, but I honestly don't care. No, there's nobody there that I want. So Drury still... So we did get Tyrone Taylor, which is great. And also, he has... I mean, in this game, he hasn't had any minor league options used, so we can flex him down if we want to. If we feel good with just Nick Gordon. So really the question is now, It's just Brandon Drury. Are we going to get Drury to come here? Willie Adames signs with the Royals. And what's going to happen with these last couple? What? Okay. No. Please don't. Please don't go to the A's. Wheeler has a huge market for him. Juan Soto goes to the Pirates, which is super unrealistic, but still more realistic than going to the A's right now. Okay. So Juan Soto is a Pirate, which Bob Nutting would never authorize that contract, but okay. And did we get Brandon Drury? We did. So we got a lot of 1 year. These are a lot of rentals to see if we can go win a championship while not sacrificing our future. So I'm going to go through the rest of the simulating. I'll stop at any big name signings, and we'll get to the end of the offseason. Zach Wheeler goes to the Cardinals. Good for him. A lot of money. Royals are offering us an offer for Edwin Arroyo, a potential JJ Goss. You know, that's not a bad deal, but I think I'm going to reject it because we have a lot of pitching. Michael Soroka goes to the Phillies to replace Zach Wheeler, I guess. $15 million a year. Wow. Jeremy Pena to the Yankees for Everson Pereira and Fletcher Burnett. Fletcher Burnett looks like to be a rookie. Everson Pereira hasn't really worked out so far in New York. Let's check out the Astros. Yeah, Fletcher Burnett is a pitcher. Fletcher Burnett is a B potential 18-year-old pitcher. And then Pereira has not developed, but, you know, B potential 67 overall, I guess. Oh, they got Zach Neto. Weird. Okay, so they wanted to make room for Zach Neto and didn't want to pay Jeremy Pena. So I'm assuming then if we go back to the Yankees, yeah, they don't have Volpe anymore because they traded him. They traded for Javi Baez at some point. That's rough. So yeah, Pena is the shortstop of the future, not Anthony Volpe. So the Yankees are an interesting team. I don't think they've made the playoffs at all in this series. Okay, so Reese McGuire wins, gets $2.5 million. Yu Chang gets just under 2. Matt Zek gets 1.75. They decide with us. And $740 for Cutter Crawford. Okay, so I'm going to look through other trades. The Giants acquire Jordan Montgomery from the Brewers. Oh my god, that pitching rotation is going to be one of the best I've ever seen. Rhys Hoskins goes to the White Sox. Mason Wynn goes to the Brewers for John Gray. I don't think there's... Oh, Jet Williams goes to the Phillies for Kyle Schwarber. That's kind of an impressive deal there. Yeah. That's that. Okay, I wanted to jump back for a second. This is insane. Bieber, Burns, Webb, Montgomery, Lorenzen. That is ridiculous. Do they have anything else on this team? I have never seen I've never seen anything like this. This is crazy. This is a crazily constructed team. Okay, so going into spring training, which will be in the next video, this is going to be our rotation. We got Shohei Ohtani, Max Fried, Tanner Houck, Garrett Whitlock, and Bailey Ober. Our bullpen is really going to be Hicks, Miller Orbeo, Ronaldo Lopez, Tyler Matzek, Cutter Crawford, Jonathan Loaiska, John Schreiber, and AJ Minter. And then these are going to be our two lineups. We're going to have Verdugo leading off against righties, despite his speed. His on base was just so much higher than Ahmed Rosario's that I wanted to switch those guys and have Verdugo lead off. And then we have Devers, Ohtani, Renfroe, Danny Jensen, Gleyber Torres, Tyler O'Neill, and Brendan Drury. And then against lefties, we have Tyler O'Neill hitting leadoff, Rosario again, then at second, Devers, Ohtani, Drury, Renfroe, Torres, Verdugo, and Danny Jensen is going to bring up the rear against lefties. So that is our offseason. On the bench, we have Nick Gordon and Reese McGuire, Tyrone Taylor, Yu Chang, and Tristan Casas. So that means that either Tyrone Taylor or Tristan Casas is not going to make the Major League roster. I'm guessing Tristan Casas is going to have another year at AAA, would be using his last option. He is 25 years old, but, we'll see. He played pretty well in those 70 at-bats, 3.54 on base, but a really low slugging percentage, like incredibly low slugging percentage. So, 2 extra base hits out of 19, very low. So Casas might go back down to AAA to start the year, and hopefully he can develop to the point where I feel no need to bring back Brandon Drury next year. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back with the 2025 season. Hopefully we can go out there and win a championship. Again, this was just for fun. Don't get mad at me about any of the signings. I did try to keep those contracts somewhat realistic. So, may or may not have done that, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. See you guys.